Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tinfoil and Tequila. Hey, tonight's show is going to be about Area 51 and reverse engineering. So stay tuned because it's coming up. And make sure to invite all your friends and family and coworkers in here tonight. It's going to be a great show, and make sure to grab your favorite drink because you're going to be sitting down, relaxing, and having a great time tonight. So let's go ahead and get started with the show. Here's our theme song.
Grab your glass, lean in close. We laugh, we dig, we chase the ghost. Welcome to Tinfoil and Tequila, where the wild ideas hit the floor. We crack the joke, then crack the code, and pour a little truth, then pour some more. If the story sounds too strange, that's when we turn up the flame. Tinfoil and tequila, tinfoil and tequila, where happy hour meets the rabbit hole. Tinfoil and tequila, tinfoil and tequila, come on in, let the chaos roll. No suit, no script, no boring line, just big laughs and a twist the line. Tinfoil and tequila. Where happy hour meets the rabbit hole.
Man, all right. What a great song. I love that song and love those beats. Hey, if the government recovered something, could they even understand it? Tonight we're going to be talking about Area 51 and reverse engineering. But before diving into aliens, I first want to introduce Jennifer, our co-host. You guys know Jennifer. She's been here before. So welcome back, Jennifer. Try that again, Jennifer. I accidentally had you muted.
I said, thanks for having me, Larry. I appreciate it.
Hey, absolutely, absolutely. People might be able to hear you if I unmute you. So, but yeah, welcome. Glad to have you back, and glad to have you as a permanent part of the show. So hopefully you'll stick around for many more shows to come, right?
Woohoo! Yes.
We were supposed to have Biggin in here again with us tonight as well, but he couldn't make it, so hopefully we'll have him next week. That's quite okay. Jennifer and I, we've got this, and we'll be holding the fort down while we wait for Biggin to return with us, hopefully next week. But like I said, we're going to talk about Area 51 tonight, and most people don't actually know what Area 51 is. Believe it or not, and they've heard about it. They've heard, friends and family and stuff mention it in the past, but tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about Area 51 and kind of what they actually do out there, because it's quite interesting. And but Area 51 sits inside the Nevada Test and Training Range. The location is about 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas. It's built on Groom Lake, and it's one of the most heavily protected military facilities on our planet. And for decades, the U.S. government denied that it even existed. No aliens, no UFOs. They literally denied the base itself. And it was only in 2013 that after a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request, did the CIA officially acknowledge that Area 51 actually existed. And that immediately raises the question, if they lied for 50 years about the base, what else were they lying about? So, yeah.
Everything.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head right there. Yeah, they lie about everything. And if you haven't listened to our other episodes that we've had about MK Ultra and mind control, I highly recommend that you guys check out those other episodes. They were great episodes, a lot of great information in there, and I can tell you that that episode was just leading us to multiple government projects and cover-ups and things that just it was just like rabbit hole after rabbit hole. So, but I highly recommend you check out the other episodes and listen to those. And again, I want to apologize for our for our last episode. It was quite hilarious the way that it started off. So I totally had my mic muted for like the first like 2 to 3 minutes of the show, and I'm just like jabbering away, just talking away, and I was talking to myself, and nobody heard a thing for about 2 to 3 minutes at the beginning of the
Oh,
show.
that's funny. I'm sorry I
So
missed that.
yeah, so it was on the harp and weather manipulation podcast that happened last week, and yeah, I was just talking away, and I unmuted my mic on the control board, but I forgot to unmute it in the software, and apparently I love talking to myself, so.
Well, I
Oh
do the
my
same
gosh.
thing, Larry.
Yeah, it's okay to talk to yourself, just don't answer yourself, because when you start
Oh, no,
answering
I do
yourself,
that too.
oh, you do that too. Oh, okay.
Oh, I do that too
Yeah, you
every day.
do you see that guy in the padded room?
Pretty
Oh,
much.
yeah. Yeah, you visit with him frequently, huh?
I'm
I'm kidding. I'm
jealous. Like,
kidding.
if I feel like he's getting a break,
Right,
like
right.
I need that.
Hey, he gets to leave and go home, but you have to stay in that padded room, don't you?
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Hey,
kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm taking off in a couple of weeks, and I'm heading south, and I'm not coming back for 2 or 3 days by
Hey,
myself.
hey, that sounds great. Sometimes you just gotta
Yes,
have a getaway, right?
you do.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about what actually happened at Area 51. So, there are actually confirmed projects at Area 51, which includes the Lockheed U-2, the Lockheed A-12, the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, and the F-117 Nighthawk. And many UFO reports during the 1950s and 60s were actually just these aircraft. So imagine seeing a plane flying 3 times higher than any commercial aircraft. Nobody even knew that those even existed. People assumed that they were alien spacecraft. But ironically, the government allowed UFO rumors to continue because it protected their classified aircrafts. So we're going to talk about on here is Janet Airlines. It's one of the strangest real things. Janet Airlines, people still fly on it every day. Nobody officially says Janet stands for anything. Popular guesses include just another non existent terminal. Employees board unmarked white airplanes with a red stripe. Flights leave Las Vegas daily. Destination Area 51. So imagine telling your wife, I'm flying somewhere. And she says, where? It says, literally, I can't tell you. But Area 51 is actually surrounded by soldiers, or isn't surrounded by soldiers. Instead, it's surrounded by sensors, cameras, buried motion detectors, there's helicopters, and private security contractors. The infamous camo dudes that everybody gets stopped by, people wearing desert camouflage, no name tags, no military insignia. If you cross the boundary, you'll probably meet one of them pretty quickly. So
Hmm.
why is there so much secrecy? Well, this is where things get a little interesting. There's two competing explanations. So the first one is simple: advanced military technology, stealth aircraft, hypersonic weapons, drone systems, electronic warfare. It all makes sense, right? But explanation two is recovered non human technology, and that's where things get a little wild. And we're going to start talking a little bit about Roswell. And I'm sure you're familiar with the whole Roswell incident, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So back in July of 1947, near Roswell, the Army issues a press release saying, we've captured a flying disc. On the next day, whoops, that was actually a weather balloon. Really? The government later changed its explanation again. It wasn't a weather balloon, it was a Project Mogul balloon. Now there are three stories. Which one's true? This is why Roswell never dies. So, did the debris go to Area 51? Well, officially, no. And conspiracy theory says absolutely. And many researchers believe that the wreckage was first examined elsewhere before ultimately ending up at Area 51. There's no evidence that proves this, but it remains one of the biggest theories, is that it's all out at Area 51. But what are your thoughts, Jennifer? I mean, what do you think is going on at Area 51? Do you believe it's advanced military technology? Do you believe they're reverse engineering UFOs? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, I've thought a lot about this actually, and I think it's a little bit of both. I think a little bit of both is happening. Um, I also think that whatever it is that they are doing, that UFOs themselves are as like smoke screens and mirrors so that we focus on that and not so much about like what they're actually doing. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where they're cloning people. I mean, this is
Yeah.
just this is just me talking.
Yeah. No.
Um,
No. You're good. You're.
I think that's where they're when I'm sorry, but when celebrities sell their soul or whatever, like they go there and then it's almost like a Stepford Wives thing. They go through a program
Mm-hmm.
and then they become this. Um, it's definitely I feel like deeper than any of it. It's like way more information than any of us actually have in our hands.
Right.
Um, from and I'll be honest with you, I have not been down that whole entire rabbit hole of Area 51 and reverse engineering and all the things. But from what I can see, I think that I personally don't believe in actual UFOs coming from other uh, planets, if you
Right.
will.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all military driven.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think, and also we could go down the rabbit hole of like demons and all of this that people see,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, which I truly don't think that the government can control that part of it. And I think that they don't even know like some of the things, like they literally just make up stuff as they go along. But that's
Yeah.
just kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Because I mean, I believe they're doing a whole lot more than just advanced technologies and maybe reverse engineering UFOs, but I'm not so sure about the reverse engineering UFOs because I do know that both Lockheed Martin and Northrop are both manufacturers of advanced technology and are supposedly both of them are manufacturing UFOs or what we appear to be UFOs, like anti gravity technology. But
Hmm.
that kind of leads us into another thing is that about gravity and gravity not existing, that it's frequency and magnetism, so it's there's a lot of stuff that we were taught in school over the years that about gravity and gravity holds everything on Earth, but it's another indoctrination thing, you know.
Yes, and we everyone needs to unlearn everything they've ever been
It's true.
taught and
It is so true.
question everything,
Yep.
literally. But I was one of those people, even as a child, who did question everything.
Hmm.
And I was basically told, we don't question that, or, it just
We don't
is what it
question
is.
that,
Or
or
I never took that as an answer. I've always been like a deeper thinker than I would say most of my peers.
right. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. When you think about everything that goes on out there, and one of the biggest things too is like, especially where I reside at here, and you reside at here in North Georgia. Believe it or not, there's actually been quite a few UFO sightings up in this area,
Mm-hmm.
including I myself actually have a MUFON report out there where I saw a boomerang shaped craft, and it wasn't like a B-2 plane. It literally looked like a boomerang with a block, like a square fuselage, under the
Mm-hmm.
nose of this boomerang. And it flew right over my head. I was actually over there off of Highway 52 over there, RNA Orchard, and
Mm-hmm.
when I saw the craft, and if you listen to the podcast that we did about aliens and UFOs, which was our very first podcast we did,
Mm-hmm.
our first episode, I guess you could say. But I shared my story on that, and I saw these two orange orbs come over the mountain, and there was another white orb, kind of light in the sky that I was observing, and one of the orange lights or orbs kind of took off and flew after the white one, and they took off at a high speed off into the distance at night. And then the other one continued straight at me and flashed its lights when it got over the field across the street from RNA Orchard, where I was sitting at watching this. And I had gone out there to observe because my kids had seen some stuff that happened, before out there, and they're like, "Hey, we think we saw a UFO in the sky and with all these little multicolored lights, like the night before." So I went over there, and they were staying at their grandparents' house, and I went to look for it, and I didn't see it, but then I seen this bright white light in the sky, and I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. I'm like, I thought it was like a helicopter, or something. And
Mm-hmm.
with like a searchlight, like looking for somebody in the mountains or something, And so I just was trying to get
Which is
over,
plausible. I
yeah,
mean, that could
right.
happen. I've seen that happen.
Yeah, like lost hikers or something, out there and hiking in the mountains or something.
Fugitives, whatever. Yeah.
Right, right, exactly. And when I was trying to get to this white light, get closer over to where it was at, that's when I saw these two orange lights coming from the south. Like, I was like, okay, maybe they're fighter jets coming from Marietta, from the Air Force Base
Mm-hmm.
down there, and they're coming to intercept this UFO, this white light in the sky. And then when they split, and I was like, no, both of them would be going over there, not just one of them. And the other one just kind of continued toward me, and then once it flew over my head, there was no sound or anything to it. And
Hmm.
it was probably only about, I don't know, maybe like 500, maybe to 1,000 foot up. It wasn't real high. It was just maybe a little bit above the treetops. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is that? And I'm like, okay. I was like, well, beam me up, Scotty. like I guess you're going to take me away. And it just kind of silently flew over me and just went off and out of my view. And I was like, wow, like,
Well, I have to say, if there is something out there and they know something better than me,
yeah.
better than this, like, come get me.
Mm-hmm.
Come get me. I'm
Right.
ready.
Take me,
Just
take me
saying.
to, take me to your galaxy, to your fearless leader, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, yeah, it was. I've seen probably about three or four different UFOs in my lifetime, or what I believe were UFOs. And but yeah, you guys, if you haven't yet listened to that, I definitely recommend listening to our alien UFO episode, which is episode one. It was pretty good, and I shared some good stuff on there. But
I still think that aliens come from the government.
mm-hmm,
Like, that's just,
yeah,
I just find it hard. First of all, if I were to visit this planet and never lived here, I'd probably like make sure I took off really quick.
right.
Like, I don't know about those people down there, like,
Yeah, I've always seen these like memes that people share on online sometimes, and it's like with all these weird like looking kind of freaky people, and it has a little caption under it. It says, "This is why the aliens won't come and visit us." I was
That's
like,
why they lock their doors when they drive by. I'm telling you,
right.
like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely some interesting things that have been going on over the years, and all kinds of different government cover-ups and projects that have been
and
going on. And
that's where I think too. You see all those stories where people were abducted
hmm
by said whatever. That's where I think too, like the government is doing something. This is the whole like mind control. Like, I mean, I've watched many documentaries of people, not so much recently, but like, 30, 40 years ago, who had these stories about it, and but they couldn't really tell you about it, right? Kind
yeah,
of like Men in Black, right? Like,
yeah,
I think that they use like a diffuser on people. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't really wrap my head around like how it all takes place, but I still don't think that they're from a different galaxy, or I just
yeah.
I find it hard to believe that,
Well, I mean,
in my opinion.
we know the government has experimented, with crossbreeding, so I'm sure that they've experimented with crossbreeding humans with animals and stuff like that, and crossing over DNA, from different animals and humans. I'm sure that they've done that, and
Yeah, they've
these.
been playing God for
Oh
decades.
yeah, I mean they do it these days in modern day reproductive medicine. I mean, it's like you go to a reproductive medicine doctor and they're like, "Oh, you want a child? Okay, no problem." And they're like, "We can help you. We've got egg donors, we got sperm donors, and we can, you don't have to have a man or a woman. We can, do that through the donors, that we have. You don't have to do anything yourself. And if you want a baby, we can help you make that happen." And then they're
Now
like,
that's a whole different rabbit hole there,
I
Larry.
know. And then they're like,
Have you been down that rabbit hole?
"Oh yeah, I
Oh my
have,
goodness.
I
That's
have." Yeah,
crazy.
and they're like, "Well, what do you want? Do you want a boy and a girl, or two boys, two girls? Like, what are you interested in?" Okay, well, great. Boy and a girl. Okay, well, what color eyes and hair? And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? Like, no, God creates that. No, no, we can create that. We can make that." I was like, "Whoa, what a minute, wait a minute, no." But yeah, supposedly there's a company. And now we're getting a little off topic, but supposedly there's a company in Texas that supposedly manufactures babies that you can actually order a baby and they create it in this little incubator machine of some sort, and you can fully customize it, customize the baby's IQ, and like if you want the baby to like be musically inclined, or and I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, I'm like,
I would
how?
never, there's no way I would ever want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're creating like
You've
an
got,
AI child. It's like,
yeah, you have opened up a can of worms on that. We're gonna have to
yeah,
do a whole different show on
I know we
that
do.
type of stuff because it's deep.
It is. It is. It's crazy when you get into talk about, cloning and stuff, and it's just it's something that has been kind of controversial for so long, and people are like, "Oh no, it's not real. It doesn't happen." And I'm like, "Yeah, it does." And in these times that we're in now, it's getting exposed more than ever, and that's where we're at. We're in like full exposure mode. So the truth about everything's coming out. And that's why I created Tinfoil and Tequila. And that's what
Mhm.
this show's about, is exposing the lies that have been going on for so long, the indoctrination, and spreading the truth about everything that's actually going on. And that's where, every episode we're going to be trying to do something different. We're going to talk about different government projects and cover ups, and just keep exposing the truth about everything until it's all out there. And, I'm not the only one doing it. I mean, it's happening all over the place. There's tons of other podcasts out there. There's TV shows that are doing it. Even our own government, President Trump and, his administration and stuff is exposing a lot of stuff as well. When you look at like things like
Absolutely.
the Epstein files, that's been going on for probably like decades and decades.
Yeah, decades.
It's been going on for a really long time, and it's just something that that I think they've known about it for a while. They just didn't know. I don't think really knew how to tackle it because the web ran so deep, and it was so involved, and everybody that's involved with it is like in Congress, they're in Senate, they're in our media, they're in Hollywood.
They're Hollywood,
Yeah, I
yes.
mean they're, I mean, and
Pedo wood, pedo wood.
yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah, and they're involved in everything. They're CEOs with big corporations that's involved with it. I mean, it's just it runs so deep, and like they said, if they prosecuted everybody that was in there right away, I mean, they're all going to go down. They're all going down. It's all being dealt with. But if they did it all
Right.
at once, it would literally
The
shut down
world
the
would
entire world.
collapse.
Yeah,
It would collapse.
absolutely.
But you know what? Perhaps we need a full collapse
Yep,
and just a rebuild.
you're absolutely right. Yep.
That's just where I'm at with that. But yes, I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I think about Area 51 and every all of that. I believe that's where most of everything, including, if I may, NASA ha- is doing all the things there, right? Like
Yeah.
it's I mean, we can get into the whole tunnel system too. I
Oh my
mean,
gosh, that's a rabbit hole in itself.
exactly.
Talking
But I
about
think it all
Alice and the
begins
tunneling
in
machine.
that. hmm I believe it all begins in, and it's not just the United States. Like,
No,
I
it's
think it's a
worldwide.
world thing. It's
Hmm.
worldwide. I mean, the governments, even though they're fighting, they all are in cahoots together.
They are.
Like,
Yeah.
they all are, basically, if you, and I don't mean to get biblical here, but I'm going to get a little biblical for just a minute. So if you think about how, God, heaven, Satan, like pride, all of that, like there's always been this need for power
Hmm.
since
Right.
the beginning of time. And that's what it is.
Yep.
It's all about power and controlling the masses.
Yep.
That's what COVID-19 was about. Um, Even before that, I mean, schools, okay, like our schools, they start controlling at a very young age.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just it's
Yeah.
insane. But every once in a while, I would say one out of every, I would say 10, but probably not, maybe 20, 25, 30. One out of 30 people question everything
Yeah.
because we
Yep.
just don't take anything at face value. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Like, prove it.
Well, and
Prove that you went to the moon.
yeah.
Prove that there are UFOs and aliens, and um until one shows up at my door, I'm not
Hmm.
going to believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
And even
absolutely
then I
right.
wouldn't. I would know it was demonic.
Hmm. And another thing too is a lot of people, um, like I kind of learned about this. I did paranormal research for 8.5 years down in Florida, and was a paranormal investigator. And I talked about that in our episode that we did about paranormal and ghost, and kind of shared some pictures and some of my stories in there. But when I did that, there was one thing that I discovered when I was doing research is that people don't like to talk about their experiences because they don't want to feel like they're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to have the backlash that people are going to give them. Oh, you're just crazy. You're just seeing ghosts. Ghosts aren't real. That's just you're just going crazy. You need to see a shrink. and and that's the
You know how many times
fear.
I've heard that in my life?
I know, me too. I hear it a lot from friends and family and coworkers and everything. They're like, "You're crazy. You need to go see a shrink." I'm like, "No, you're the crazy one." Like, like I'm totally sane. But
Yeah, I feel like that too. I feel like I'm
yeah,
stable, I'm grounded,
mm-hmm, yeah,
but I
I'm
feel,
awake.
I sense, I see things differently.
Mm-hmm, exactly. We got a different viewpoint of things. We've got an open mind that isn't indoctrinated by the system.
Mhm.
And I kind of talked about that in one of our like 2 episodes ago when I talked about the gate and tag program. I think we talked about a little bit too in that MK Ultra segment that we did as well. But people are fearful for what others are going to think about them. So they don't like to talk about things. They don't like to talk about their UFO experiences or their ghost experiences or whatever because they don't want to be crazy and they don't want to talk about the conspiracy stuff that is actually the truth because again they don't want people to have a certain way of thinking about them. Me, I don't care.
I don't
Just like
care.
you,
I don't
we don't
care.
care what people think. We're going to
Like,
talk
I will
about
be
it
the last
regardless.
person standing
Yep,
if I believe it
yep,
or what,
exactly,
I stand on truth, but not on like
exactly.
man's truth, government truth.
Yeah,
I I think I don't know. I think it's a gift. I really do think it's a
hmm,
gift. It's like the gift of discernment. Like I'm able to
yeah,
discern like information,
hmm,
other things, people's personality. Like I listen, I can smell a bad vibe a mile away.
hmm,
Like
yeah. Same
my
here.
circle is very, very small and getting smaller every day
Yeah,
because I don't
yeah,
have time for BS. Like any of that. And I'm more of like a fact driven person, not a feeling. If it's a feeling, it doesn't make it, you know what I mean? But I feel like
right.
the world operates on feelings.
Yeah, you're
So,
exactly right. That's how it is, and it's like you make one wrong move and you hurt somebody's feelings, and now it's like game over. It's like no, like I don't care about
whatever.
your feelings. I'm gonna share the truth, and if you don't like it, yeah, you gotta listen to it.
That's right.
Like walk the other way. Turn your head,
Hmm.
plug your ears, whatever. I said I'm gonna.
Well, and two, I think some people are just, oh, sorry. I think some people are scared of the actual truth. Like they're,
Yeah,
like, I don't, honestly, reality really is stranger than fiction if you look at it.
it
Like,
is.
truly, it really is.
And you know what I've heard
Um,
from some of my family is they say that they said they don't want to believe that whatever conspiracy theory is true, even though it is true. They don't want to
mhm.
believe it because they said there's nothing that they can do about it anyways. That's
Well,
what I
I
hear
hear
a
that
lot.
too. My husband says that all the time.
Yeah,
You know what? Like, he literally, everything that I have been, I guess, for the past 6 years, like telling him, I think it was just like a month ago, the White House, like Trump, the administration released some of the information. I can't remember right off the top of my head. It was like a lot of the QAnon stuff, which that's a whole different whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I had to weed through some of that too. But some of that, like, I'm like, look, I'm not crazy. Look.
yeah.
And
That's exactly right.
and he just laughs. He's like, well, what are you going to do about it? I'm like, nothing, but it just proves that I'm not crazy.
Yeah, exactly. The whole Q stuff is we'll probably have a episode about that, or might talk about a little bit on one
I'm
of
still
the
waiting on
episodes.
JFK Jr. to like pop out somewhere, but
Yeah.
I ain't
Well,
seen it yet.
have you seen that one Secret Service agent that's got the bald head that's always messing with his pinky finger?
Yeah.
That's always with Trump. Well, supposedly people are saying that that is Junior in there. I don't know if that's true,
I don't,
but I've
I don't
heard that
know.
from multiple people, and a lot of people believe that that's actually JFK Jr. That's part of Trump's Secret Service detail that's with him all
Well,
the
I've
time
also
here.
seen the guy that would show up to his rallies that had like the long hair that everybody thought that was him
Oh, you talk about the
as
dude with the
well.
glasses?
The dude with the glasses, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, it's so like, and again, until like I feel a solid like
yeah.
that's him, I'm just not gonna.
Well, they say that that JFK Jr. too was a master of disguises, and that he's like
I've heard that.
disguised as multiple people, and and you'll never know who he is or where he's at, And I was like, that's kind of cool, like to know that like he's right in front of your face and you're staring right at him, but you don't even know that it's him, you know.
Hey, that happened to me one time with Ozzy Osbourne, by the way.
Oh, really?
I realized who he was after the fact.
Yeah, after he left,
That's
huh?
a whole different story that is not podcast, whatever, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
that's
And
pretty
he
cool.
wasn't even like really disguised, but I wasn't expecting, I don't know. It was
Yeah,
just so weird.
you just didn't
Like,
expect him to be where you were, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit here about Bob Lazar. You know who Bob Lazar is, Jen?
So I've heard the name. I have not done a lot of research on Bob Lazar. I do know that wasn't he part of like the Operation Paperclip?
Well, actually, Bob Lazar was he's probably one of the most controversial figures. So Bob
Okay,
Lazar
okay.
claims
Never
that he
mind.
worked at S4, which was a secret facility just south of Area 51 that was a part of Area
Oh,
51.
okay, yeah.
And so he actually says that he saw 9 alien spacecraft and claims that they were trying to reverse engineer the propulsion on these UFO crafts. His story also includes talking about gravity amplifiers, element 115, anti gravity, and a reactor producing unbelievable energy. Things that are supporting Lazar, it says some employment claims appear difficult to fully explain. He accurately describes aspects of Area 51 security before they became public. He described hand geometry scanners. Years later, photos surfaced showing similar devices that Bob Lazar had previously talked about. The problems with Lazar is that there's no confirmed education records, there's no employment records proving his story. Many scientists dispute his physics, and some parts appear impossible according to current science. But, those
I don't
things are
believe anything current science has.
exactly, yeah, exactly. That's what I was just gonna
No.
say. I was like, we know that there's a lot of hidden science out there, a lot of hidden technologies, and it's just like what I just read to you was that he described the hand geometry scanners, and years later, photos came out about it, and he had already talked about it, and they were keeping it secret.
So remind me of like how long ago, I can't remember, like how long ago Bob Lazar had talked about like I can't remember, like I
Well,
know it
it
was
was in
like
the late 80s,
late
so
80s. Okay. So I
yeah.
was thinking like at least I was thinking the 90s, but
Yeah, it was around looked like he first started talking about like element 115 in late 1989 during a
okay.
series of television interviews that he had with a Las Vegas journalist George Knapp on
Mhm.
KLAS TV News. And in these interviews, he claimed that the U.S. government used it as a fuel source for extraterrestrial spacecraft, this element 115. So it was supposed to be some kind of alien element that they were using out there for fuel. So,
Mhm.
but but yeah, it's
Well, my
his.
father-in-law helped build aircrafts for Lockheed for many years.
Mhm.
I would I mean, he passed away recently, but I never really got to talk to him about all that. But I do know that there was things that he could not talk about
Hmm.
that were happening or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, he was an engineer.
yeah, I believe it. He probably worked on some of this advanced technology. That's why he couldn't talk about it, and
Hmm. And he retired in I believe he retired in 1994. Yeah, would have been I think 94, 93, 94, something like that.
yeah, 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 I'd say probably I know Bob Lazar, he was kind of getting, like, he first kind of started off in the late 80s, like 89, 88. He first started talking about stuff, and then, like I said, in 1989 is when he started talking about this element 115, and then I remember seeing him on TV in the early 90s, and
Hmm.
I remember him talking about the UFOs and stuff, and I was just, a kid, back then. But when I kind of grew up, liking the whole UFO stuff, and I just thought it was really intriguing. And like I said, if you listen to that first podcast we did about aliens and UFOs, I talked about it. I saw my first UFO when I was about 8 years old, and so that was it was really interesting. And that was when I lived down in Florida. I was actually in Dunellen, Florida, in Marion County, Florida. And when I saw it, and it looked like the front end of two cars put together, like back to back, where the headlights were shining out, away from each other. And
Hmm.
this craft just like hovered above the trees, like maybe like a couple 100 feet above the trees. And my mom had went into the store and left me and my little sister out in the car, and she went in to like go get a pack of cigarettes or something, and then she came back out. I said, Mom, what is that? And I, pointing up and looking out the window, and it was gone when she came out to look at it. But the whole time she was in the store, it was just like hovering above us, like just
Did your
like
sister see it?
yeah. She was real little though.
Oh, okay.
She was like
I gotcha.
3 years old, I think.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
yeah, she
Yeah.
don't really remember it, 'cause she was so little. But I remember
I
it.
have memories from when I was two, so
Oh, really? Wow,
oh yeah.
that's
Not
pretty
with
cool.
UFOs. I will be
Right.
honest with you. I've never actually now I have encountered things that I as a child that looking back was demonic, um, flying through the sky. I will be
Wow.
honest with you about that. But I've never actually encountered like a type of spaceship or any type of anything like
Yeah.
that I can remember. But I've actually heard, why does it always happen in the middle of nowhere in these podunk USA towns that people are
I
just kind
know.
of ignorant? They can't speak very good English, and not because they're from a different country. Like I remember growing up and hearing stories because we spent a lot of time in South Mississippi when I was a kid, and like it didn't make any sense, but they had stories of like UFOs and stuff, and I found it intriguing, but at the same time, like I just didn't quite understand what they were saying, if that makes sense, because they were kind of
Right.
Cajun too. So,
Yeah. Kind of had that Louisiana accent.
hmm,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about the reverse engineering stuff. So let's just pretend that, just for this discussion, that an alien craft crashed. Now what? People think engineers climb inside, push some buttons, fly away. Reality? No, probably not. But imagine giving an iPhone to Leonardo da Vinci. Could he reverse engineer it? Maybe, eventually. But he'd first have to discover electricity, semiconductors, microprocessors, programming, lithium batteries, integrated circuits, Wi Fi, modern chemistry, and he wouldn't even have the vocabulary. Now imagine technology 5,000 years beyond us. So engineers would probably ask, what powers it? What materials? How does it generate lift? How's heat removed? Why doesn't inertia kill the occupants? What controls it? How's it manufactured? Even if humans recovered it, understanding it could take centuries. And then you got the exotic materials. The claims include metamaterials, memory metals, impossible isotopic ratios, layered nanomaterials, self healing metals, and officially, no verified alien materials have ever been publicly confirmed. So it makes you wonder, and I've heard about this. I don't know if you watch um, like Skinwalker Ranch and stuff, but I've been following that quite a bit. Where they're trying to uncover, and the other ranch, Blind Frog Ranch as well out there. They're
Mm-hmm.
kind of like back to back. They're in the same area, but there's a lot of strange things that happen on these two ranches out there,
Mm-hmm.
and they believe that the government has a hand in it and that there's stuff going on because they've actually found surveillance cameras set up on the hilltops that were watching them that were in like briefcases and stuff where they were like they were wired up, I guess, using cellular technology to feed the stream or whatever back to wherever it needed to go. And of course, they destroyed those government cams that have been put on their property, but which I would as well.
As would I.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, you don't need to be spying on me. You don't need to know what I'm doing on my land. And but the government's been on top of them, and they fly Black Hawks and airplanes and stuff over their property all the time to monitor them and surveillance them. So those two ranches are probably the most probably watched and most surveillance ranches ever. But they're, if you haven't checked them out, they're really cool shows. Got a lot of cool information that they share on there about all this strange technology that goes on their land there. But
So I believe that technology is there way before it's released.
oh yeah, yeah. I've heard that the military is like 50 years more advanced
50,
in their
yeah, or more.
technology,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
than like civilians.
Mm-hmm.
But but yeah, we're going to talk a little bit too about David Grush. So
I agree.
one reason that this topic exploded again was because of David Grush. He was a former intelligence officer, and the claims were that the U.S. has crash retrieval programs, has reverse engineering programs, recovered non-human craft, and possibly recovered biological material. The important distinction is Grush repeatedly testified he was reporting information told to him by other officials. He did not publicly claim that he personally saw an alien spacecraft. Supporters say that there were dozens of witnesses that spoke to him, and critics say secondhand testimony is not enough to establish claims. So basically, they're just trying to cover it up, and they're like, hey, we don't care what people are telling you, it's not true, essentially. So there was also the Wilson memo. This was one of the strangest documents. The alleged Wilson Davis memo claims that Admiral Thomas Wilson discovered a deeply hidden reverse engineering program and was denied access. And some researchers consider it authentic, others dispute it, and there's been no consensus on that. The legacy program, according to many researchers, recovered technology isn't handled by the military. Instead, it's handled by private defense contractors. Names include these mentioned previously, like I just said, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Battle Memorial Institute, or Battelle Memorial Institute. And there's no public evidence confirming that these companies possess extraterrestrial craft, but they frequently are mentioned in speculation because of their long histories with classified defense work. And like I said, I have heard that both Lockheed and Northrop both manufacture UFOs, and so I wouldn't
Well,
doubt that they're
I've heard
part of the
that too,
recovery.
and I actually know someone personally that works with the government
Hmm.
in the defense part, and everything that he does, like his wife is not even allowed to have like social media, and um it's all of it, and he gets paid a lot of money.
Hmm. Yeah,
All of it is, he cannot speak of it
yeah.
at all.
Gets paid hush money,
At
huh?
all. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They
Hey.
got married in Paris, okay? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're, yeah.
So
But,
the reason why that the government uses private companies is because they have
and he
freedom.
works for a private company.
Yeah.
I didn't include that part. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's exactly why a lot of these why the government uses a lot of these private companies, because there's freedom from oversight. There's no FOIA. There's less congressional visibility, and there's more secrecy. So the
Hmm.
private companies can keep things private, you know, and keep hush hush about it. But another question is like, did reverse engineering create modern technology? Well, this is probably one of the oldest conspiracy theories. So people point to fiber optics, lasers, night vision, Kevlar, integrated circuits, microchips, stealth technology, GPS, carbon composites, and claims say that these appeared way too quickly. But scientists disagree, and they point to documented research and incremental development over decades, but still, many conspiracy researchers are asking, was alien technology simply hidden inside ordinary patents? I believe so.
I
That's,
believe so.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And I believe that they've had this technology for a long time, and that, they're
Well,
just,
some of the patents go back to the late 1800s.
oh yeah, yeah. There's some that are really old, that have been around for a long time. But I think too, a lot of the stuff that they've had, and they're just waiting for the right time to release it, and be like, and just like I've seen some videos and some pictures and stuff uh, that before the whole AI stuff really started coming out, where people in like the early 1900s had cell phones. And I don't know if you've seen
I saw those
any of
too.
those, but I was like, well, cell phones were apparently around like way back when. There's all these people walking, talking on telephones, but yeah, then supposedly cell phones really didn't come out till what, probably like the late 80s or 90s, when they really started getting
Like
popular.
later. Yeah, with the like bag phones
Yeah,
and
yeah, the big
that kind of
giant
stuff.
bar
But
phones, and yeah.
do you think it goes back to like the time thing, like the time warps, like the different timelines that people have lived on?
Yeah, I, that's
Like,
very possible, and that's something too I want to do a podcast about, talking about timelines and timeline jumping. That's a really really awesome topic to talk about too, and getting into more of spiritual stuff, there. So,
mhm.
but yeah, that's really intriguing
So
thing.
I don't think that movies that are made like are made just out of imagination.
Yep, yep, you're absolutely right, because there's a lot of truth
I
in a lot of
just
movies.
there's so much truth in so many movies.
Mm-hmm. Look at Soylent Green. And
Hmm.
for those of you that have no idea what Soylent Green is, I highly suggest that you watch it. It's a really old movie. It was shot in like 1971, but the movie was actually set, I believe, in 2023, I believe it was. And it basically boils down to, we are eating each other, just to put it out there lately.
And we kind of are.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, look at all the stuff that's happened with McDonald's, and I remember
We don't
growing
eat
up.
McDonald's.
No, no, I haven't eaten McDonald's in many, many years, and since I found out, about McDonald's and what is going on, and
I'm actually
everything
to the
that,
point where I don't even really want to eat meat unless I would
hey,
grow it myself, which I don't.
you and me both.
So I'm like, okay.
Like these days, I
Um,
can't really stand hamburger meat at all. Like
it
I
tastes
get,
so
I
bad.
get nauseous when I start eating hamburger meat. I'm just like, okay, like,
It literally tastes so bad.
yeah,
Like, yeah, well,
I don't
I
know.
wish I could get my husband on board, but yeah,
Yeah,
bacon is about the only thing I will eat, to be honest with you. And that's just because it tastes so good.
I know. It's like, once you've had bacon, it's like, how can you just never have bacon again? Like, that's just That's impossible.
I'm sorry, but bacon is like this. It's like it's so good.
Yeah.
It's just
Hey, doesn't LJ have like the Bacon Fest every year over there? They have like
we
the
do. Actually, my very good
yeah.
friend, and if she's listening, I will send her this so she will listen eventually. But she actually started it. This woman, like she like bacon is her thing.
Oh
So her
yeah.
name is Ira Witt, and she started that a few years ago. And but my problem is
That's cool.
like all other festivals, like we went to a fried pickle festival. I never found a fried pickle.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Yeah, I
there's
heard
not a
about
lot
that.
of bacon there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like a festival. I mean, you've got a couple of things and you can buy like different flavors of bacon,
Yeah.
but there's not like, I don't know, it's not like bacon themed. Why is that? Why are festivals not
Hmm.
apples? Apple
Yeah.
festival. It's mostly crafts. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there's not a
'cause
whole lot of apples unless you go to the apple houses. I don't know, it's crazy.
yeah, you would think that they'd be baking all kinds of different apple goods and stuff like that. Yeah, I went to the Apple Festival one year and I was a bit disappointed. I'm like, why did I come to an
Where are
arts
the
and crafts
apples?
show? Yeah.
Yeah, where are the
I was like,
apples?
I'll never
Yeah,
come back.
it's
I'm like, that was a waste of my
I thought
time.
the same thing about the fried pickle festival. I was looking forward to like eating a bunch of fried pickles and there was
Yeah.
none. They had
Wow.
pickle lemonade. Oh my gosh, don't ever try that.
Oh gosh, that sounds horrible.
It was bad.
It just sounds bad. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you even tried that. Oh my goodness. But
Well,
yeah,
not
so
by choice. I did not try it by choice. I'll be honest with you.
yeah, you were
After
like
I paid
forced to.
$11 for a small cup of pickle lemonade
Oh
and my
gosh.
son wouldn't drink it, I was like, okay, I'm going to try. I tried. I got
Yeah.
about halfway down.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
No way. No, that just doesn't sound appetizing at all. Oh, yeah, it's just some of the crazy stuff that we encounter in our lives, right? It's like, here, try this.
But I actually saw something and again, I think all of this is happening in secret places like
Yeah.
Area 51
Hmm.
um and I don't think that Area 51 is the only place. Like look at Antarctica.
Yeah.
The things
Oh
there
yeah.
is actually there's an it's not all ice.
Yep. Yeah.
It's
There's
not all
bases
ice.
down
Like
there in Antarctica as well.
yeah, and you know, I think that
Hmm.
that's where things are being made and done and fabricated and all of the things. I believe it's all about again comes back to it's all about the power.
Yep. That's exactly right. And it's all a lot of that stuff is controlled by George Soros, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. You know, so
Yeah.
they've got their, you know, just like all the wars. You know, both sides of the wars are funded by George Soros and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and you know they pay
The
for.
Vanderbilts, the
Hmm.
Vanderbilt,
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the Vanderbilts too. Yeah.
which are part of the Rothschilds. So
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Mhm.
We know.
JP Morgan.
Yep. J.P. Morgan. Yep. For those of you that have Chase bank accounts, yep, I would recommend going
I
elsewhere.
I actually closed mine.
Yep, but don't support the deep state if you can help it. Don't support them. But it's kind of hard because the deep state pretty much owns everything, and almost every restaurant, every fast food place you go to is practically owned by the
All the
deep state.
banks.
Yep, all the
If the
banks.
banks
Yep.
are backed by the whatever, like you know that they have a hand in it.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, basically anything that's
sadly,
FDIC insured is yeah, is a deep state bank.
is a yeah, and
Yeah.
there's like I don't know of any that aren't.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much everybody. Yep.
So I basically this is off subject totally, but I basically put enough money in my account to cover what has to come out automatically.
Oh yeah, automatic
I
deductions. Yeah.
yeah, everything
Yeah.
else and we're coming to a cashless society. We need to do a podcast on that.
Yes.
But everything else, I deal in cash.
Yep.
Cash or, Bitcoin, whatever, like I don't I don't put a lot of money in the bank. I just don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Troll is that way.
all right. Yep. Well, let's get on with the show. It's getting late here. We still got a lot of stuff to kind of cover here. I know we got off topic and talked about different things, but hey, that's what we do. I mean, that's what this show's about. And we get off on these other things. You get talking about one thing, and it leads into another rabbit hole, and then another rabbit hole, and so
Because the rabbit holes are so deep and
they are.
they're all connected.
They are. They are. It's
They are
just
all connected.
we're sitting here talking about Area 51, and now here we are talking about all this other government conspiracy and the Rothschilds, and and it's just one thing leads to another, and that's why these things, like pretty much everything that we talk about, is connected in some way, form, or fashion,
All
and
of it's
it's just
connected. And all of it goes back to one thing:
yeah,
control.
yep, yep, you're absolutely right. Trying to control the masses, control the population, and because and that's what they want. They want to control you, because if you're controlled, you can be manipulated, you can be indoctrinated, but once you're awake and you are bucking the system, they don't have control over you anymore, and now you're a problem, you know, and they're looking to take you out essentially because you
Well, I'm
are
still
bucking
waiting
their
for them to
system.
show up at my door
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, come on,
every day.
bring in the men in black suits and the white van. I was like, come on.
Just
you
do
know,
it. But you got to take me and my children because I'm not leaving them behind.
but hey, I will tell you this. I actually have a Facebook friend that was actually visited by the FBI. And they actually went to her house because she was posting like conspiracy stuff on Facebook and stuff, and they told her that she needs to cease, of doing that, but she hasn't. She still continues to do it, but she said she was actually visited by the FBI. They raided her house and everything. Back when, do you remember all that? Back when they like raided Mar-a-Lago, and then they were
Yeah.
raiding a bunch of like conspiracy theorists' houses and stuff. Well, her house was one of those that got raided when they were doing all that stuff, and it was one of my Facebook friends. And but yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
What was it? My cousin Sherry.
Um, I don't know. It may have been. I'm not sure.
My cousin Sherry lives in Pennsylvania, and all of that happened to her.
Wow.
She actually cannot have a Facebook. She does everything through Telegram and X.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm on
But
Telegram too.
her husband works for the government as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make sense, and she was probably an easy target since her husband works for the government. But yeah, they probably already had Hawkeyes on them. But
They had to move. They actually had to move
wow.
like 200 miles from where they were established,
Hmm.
from one side of the state to like a whole nother side of the state. It was so crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, so let's go ahead and continue on here. One thing is that could anti-gravity exist? But current physics don't rule out everything, but nobody has demonstrated a practical anti-gravity propulsion system yet. But theories discussed include space-time manipulation, warp metrics, electromagnetic effects, inertial mass reduction, and zero point energy. And these all remain speculative. But here's a fun debate. I want to ask the listeners, if tomorrow President Trump announced that we recovered an alien aircraft, would you believe it? Or would you think they're lying again? Ironically, government secrecy has become so deep that many people distrust both the denials and the confirmations. So I've got some questions for our audience, for our listeners, and you guys can chime in the comments on the videos if you want, or you can respond by text message or email to us as well. But I've got some questions I want you guys to answer if you could. And let me give you our email address and our phone number as well so that you guys have it if you guys want to use that instead of the comments on social media. But our email address is really simple. It's studio@tinfoilandtequila.com, or you can send us a text message to 706-222-3889. And but I got some questions for you. Would aliens use metal? All right. Also, would they use AI? Would they even need pilots, or could they remote control their craft? Could UFOs actually be underwater? We've been hearing a lot about that lately, that they don't actually come from the sky, they're coming from the water. And there's been, if you guys look at the UFO disclosures that President Trump did on the website, I'll have to find that again, but it's on the I think it's on the White House website where they've been disclosing
Yeah,
that.
it's
But
actually on there.
yeah, there's tons of video from Navy ships where UFOs were coming in and out of the water on there. So that's something that has been kind of controversial as well. But
What if
why?
it's China?
Yeah, it could be. China could be part of it as well. Yeah, and maybe even other countries, as well. But another thing is why also are there so many sightings near military bases? And why does every country report similar objects? And could Area 51 simply be hiding next generation human aircraft? It's very possible. But imagine the very first reverse engineering meeting. All right. So the engineer says, so this doesn't have any screws. There's no wires. There's no engine. There's no exhaust. There's no fuel. There's no cockpit. The boss says, figure it out by Friday. So
I'd be calling Larry.
yeah, don't call me. I don't know nothing about it. I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show here. So final thoughts is that Area 51 is unquestionably real. Government secrecy around it is also real. Advanced classified aircraft was developed there. Whistleblowers have alleged crash retrieval and reverse have alleged crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs. However, none of the central claims that extraterrestrial spacecraft have been recovered and successfully reverse engineered have been publicly verified with conclusive evidence. But I think that that's coming very soon, though, since a lot of UFO disclosure has been happening with the Trump administration. So I think that that will be in the days to come, and months and maybe years to come over here in the next year or two. Hopefully, that we'll probably find out more about Area 51, and hopefully the government comes clean about what really happens out of Area 51. And that it'll be no more speculation that this is Trump's administration is an administration of truth and disclosure. So I believe it's just a matter of time, and they're just waiting for the right time to make that announcement happen. But
Maybe it will happen around the same time that Jasaro and Nasaro happen.
yeah, yeah, I'm waiting on it, and we already see parts of that happening already, of the Nasara and Jasara happening. I mean, it's kind of being phased in little batches here and there. I
It
do
is.
know that as of last year, that the banks had to be Basel 3 and 4 compliant, and that's part of the new financial system. And also there was several third world countries that are overseas that ended up saying that they're no longer accepting the U.S. dollar because it's has no value. So that's the first step in our new currency in the Nasara and Jasara coming through, is that the countries will stop accepting the fiat dollar, the petrodollar,
Yeah.
and our because our new currency is being phased in, and you're already seeing the works of some of the new stuff coming in, such as Trump's signature now on the $100 bills. So it's the
Mhm.
first time that a sitting president has been on there. Um, so that's awesome. So we're seeing some currency stuff happening. It's just I think it's going to be happening in small batches, and I think a lot of it's going to happen discreetly behind the scenes, and then there'll be a small little public announcement about it. And I don't think a lot of it's going to be made into this really big deal. But I was hoping that there'd be like this whole big birthday bash thing happening July 4th, and that
But
Trump
they
would just
wouldn't. They
spill
Yeah,
the
they weren't going to
beans.
do that.
Yeah,
They want to talk about parasites right now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they want to get people all riled up.
Scared and into something
Yeah,
while something
exactly.
else is happening.
Yep, exactly. But yeah. So you know, the uncertainty is exactly why this topic continues to captivate people. So it sits at the intersection of genuine military secrecy, credible witnesses, unsolved questions, and decades of speculation. That makes it one of the most enduring mysteries in modern popular culture. But for tinfoil and tequila, a balanced approach can especially be engaging. So we're gonna basically we want everybody to engage with this. We want you guys to answer the questions that we had. I'll go over those again with you real quick. So that's would aliens use metal? Would they use AI? Would they even need pilots? Could they actually be coming from underwater? Why are there so many sightings near military bases? Why does every country report similar objects? And could Area 51 simply be hiding next generation human aircraft? So those are some questions that I want you guys to answer in the comments, or like I said, email or text them over to us. And again, our email is studio@tinfoilandtequila.com. And our text phone number is 706-222-3889 for the studio. But do you have any last words for tonight, Jen?
Not really. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You actually said some things I had not even really been down or even really, I guess, researched yet. So I'm going to have to go dig deeper into this.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Larry. I'm going to be up for nights and days.
Hey, that's how I felt when I first started researching HARP and weather manipulation. I was up for nearly 3 days straight, and I just could not sleep. It just became so intriguing to me, and I was reading like all these white paper documents and all
Mhm.
these like documentaries I was watching, and it was just, I swear, it must have been 3 days straight. I was up doing HARP and weather manipulation
Well, if you get a
research, and
message from me that says, damn you, because, like,
at
just
3
know,
a.m.
yes,
Yeah,
just know that I'm like, what? Because, like, you go down these places and you're like, you
yeah,
just can't stop.
yep.
You
That's
can't stop. And some of the stuff keeps you up at night for different reasons.
yeah.
Like, you just can't believe this stuff actually is happening,
Oh yeah, yeah.
specifically where our children are involved.
Mm-hmm. AKA the Epstein files, and yeah, and the
Just
tunnels.
all of it.
Yeah.
The adrenochrome,
Mm-hmm.
the yeah, panda eyes, like
Yep. Yeah,
all the stuff.
we need to do an episode on that. That's for sure. Yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be out there. That's the Epstein files, and cannibalism and all that. Yeah, that would make for a good show. That might scare some people off though, but it's something that needs to be told. And
It's pretty scary though, but
hmm
you gotta. I mean, I now that I'm aware, recently I received something in the mail for my daughter to be a model. Like, how do you even know, number one, my daughter's name?
Yeah.
Number two, like, why are you? No, no, I shredded that. No,
Mm.
no,
Yep.
no, no, thank you.
I
She'll
know.
be fine. She has the Lord. She has her mama. And that's what I'm saying. If they show up to my house to take me somewhere, I'm not leaving without my children.
Yep.
They're not going to be left in this whatever craziness
Yeah.
without me.
And for those of you that haven't yet seen the movie, I highly recommend you guys watching Sound of Freedom.
Oh
That
man.
was it was a good it was a bad movie, but it was a good movie, if that makes sense.
Yes. No,
It
you're
was
right.
a
You're
good
right.
eye opener movie to open your
And it was
eyes.
very real.
Oh
That stuff
yeah,
is happening every
exactly.
single day.
And it just shows how easy it is for your children to be trafficked. And it was just something that was just so innocent, I guess you could say, and the parents just fell victim to it so quickly, and they're like, okay, no problem, I'll take my child to this talent show and I'll drop them off, and the dad went to stay in the room with the kids, and the lady's like, oh no, sorry, no parents are allowed in here, come back in 2 hours to get your kids, and he came back and all the kids were gone, and it was like they never even existed there, in that little
I'm
abandoned
that
hotel.
parent that don't let my kids go in their dentist's office
Yeah.
back whatever they're getting without me.
Oh yeah, no, I go, yeah,
I'm like, no, no. I need my eyes on my children at all times.
yep, exactly.
Period.
Yep, I don't trust the doctors, and
I trust no one.
nope.
No one. Everyone and everything is sus.
Yep, you got that right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, there's too much crazy stuff going on these days. It's just
Hmm.
and it's scary, a lot of it, and it just makes you wonder, hey, are you going to be fallen victim? Are your kids going to be fallen victim to this? And it just seems like it's so easy for it to happen. And while you're like, okay, you let your guard down one day, and then all of a sudden it's just like, okay, like now I fell victim to this crap, And it's just like,
No, and again, I think that's what they're doing in these places that are so secretive.
mhm. Well,
There's
you know about the stuff that they're doing with the zip ties on the door handles. Have you
oh
seen that?
no, I have
So
not.
so yeah, it's a big thing, and this is pretty much all the women need to know about this. So the latest trafficking thing, and this actually came from a police department, and I've seen this multiple times from multiple different police departments sharing this, and also Facebook friends. But the traffickers are putting zip ties on your door handles, and what they'll do is they'll put like one zip tie. So like if there's a woman and one child, they'll put two zip ties. So they'll put one zip tie around the handle, and then they'll hang another zip tie from that one to indicate the first zip tie is a woman by herself, and then the second zip tie is she's got a child with her, so that traffickers are identifying your vehicle. So when you get out of your vehicle and you're going into the store, you're going into Walmart, you're going into Target, wherever you're going, is that they'll put these zip ties on your door handles, and so that's identifying you, and they're tagging your vehicle, so they're watching for you to come back, and they know that there's one woman and one child, and there's no men, with them, and there's no other children.
Okay, I,
So
I don't need a man.
yeah,
Ain't nobody gonna mess with me. I promise you, Larry.
yeah,
I promise you. They might take me out, but I'm not going down without a fight.
oh yeah, yeah,
Like everybody in the parking lot, everybody in the store gonna know.
mm-hmm, yeah, that's
Okay? And and if you see me, just know that I'm not alone, even though my husband not with me. If you get
mm-hmm,
my drift,
yep, yep,
I am not alone. I always got my friend with me.
yep.
Always.
Got your
Always.
got your peacemaker with you, huh?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid.
Hey, I feel you. Mine goes with me everywhere I go too, and especially in this crazy society that we live in. And I look at it this way, like if I'm not just protecting myself, but I'm protecting everybody else around me.
Everybody
So
else,
if
exactly.
something goes down, hey, you're gonna be glad that I was there.
I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6
Yep, exactly.
any
Yeah.
day of the week.
And of
Because
course, me, I've got a law enforcement background from when I was down in Florida. I was in
okay.
law enforcement for a year and a half. So when I was trained in law enforcement, I was trained to shoot to kill and shoot center mass and advance on my target. So, and that's the way I play Call of Duty, and that's the way that I'd be in real life. So if I have
Well,
to,
if you yeah, exactly, because if you're not shoot to kill, you give them the advantage.
yep.
Like,
So
no,
I'm gonna be
we're not playing games.
I'm gonna go running after him, screaming, "Get down, get down, get down!" And I'm just like, pop, 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 just
Hmm.
coming after him, and they're gonna be scared, they're gonna probably take off running. I'll be like, "No, you can run, but I'm gonna catch you."
Yeah, like yeah, I
So,
don't play games when it comes to my welfare or my children's
yeah,
welfare. I just don't.
exactly.
Um,
And like I said,
and
I always,
I honestly, I'm gonna leave you with this. I have a face that tells 1,000 words.
hmm
So I can't help it. I cannot help it. I can't hide it. Look, I can keep my mouth shut, but I can't hide my face.
yeah,
And I just think it's one of the, I mean, I'm going to be 50 next year, and I have been in situations where most people probably would have been compromised. Not me,
right,
not me, because I feel like it's a God-given gift.
yeah,
People know. They know.
yeah,
They just know. Don't F with her. Like it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to end well. I'm just saying.
yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
where I'm at.
Just yeah, you got to stand your ground and and be strong because if you're not, and you're gonna be weak, then of course you become an easy target, at
Hmm.
that point, and
Well, and I think that's it. Like it's like an inner strength that I don't really have control over. It just takes over immediately.
hmm yeah, yeah, and you gotta, like I said, I look at it this way, and and whenever I go places, I'm always paying attention to my surroundings. I'm always watching people,
Every single
and
time. I'm
I've
looking at every face, every
exactly,
car.
yep. I always pay attention, whether I'm going out to eat somewhere, I'm going to the store, I'm going to Walmart, I'm just watching people all the time. And, when I'm watching them, I'm watching their body language, I'm watching, for them to pull a gun out of their pocket or whatever, because that's the society that we live in these days, and it's just,
Yeah.
there's so many crazies out there. And if I can observe somebody doing something and stop the crime from going on, stop a shooting from going on and innocent lives being
Hmm.
taken, and I see somebody pull out a gun, and then I've got my gun with me and I pull out mine, and I'm like, okay, pow pow, take out the target, then I stop the threat. I happen to be at the right place at the right time, and I'm justified in doing that because that person was just getting ready to take some innocent lives. And yeah, I'm probably going to go to jail. I'm probably going to have to, talk to the judge about it. Okay, why'd you shoot this person? Well, it was self-defense. They were getting ready to shoot other people, and I'd be justified and be released because I stopped a threat and stopped innocent lives from happening. But then again, as we all know how corrupted our justice system is, we've all got those
That's a whole nother
corrupted
podcast.
liberal judges, and yeah, exactly, yeah. So we could have a whole podcast about our corrupted judicial systems, and especially how they're all for women these days and not for men, and stuff like that too. But they're still old fashioned, and I learned that years ago, going through divorce court and stuff too, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm,
Well, it all depends
it's
on the
so
judge,
crazy.
Larry. It
It
all
does.
depends on the judge.
Yeah.
I will tell you that. It
Yeah.
really does. At the end of the day, it really is who is residing as your honor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's yeah. Government corruption in its entirety is a whole podcast show, probably two or three podcast shows. But yeah. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and end this and let people get on with their evenings. And want to appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in to listen tonight, wherever you're listening from. Want to say, give a shout out to all my friends, family, coworkers out there listening as well tonight. Thank you all so much for attending, because without you, this podcast would not be possible, and we do this for you. It's not just for us, but it's for you. We want to get you guys all this good information. And we want you to be interactive with us as well. So please comment on social media, whether you're watching on Rumble or Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're listening to us at, and catching our podcast. We want you to interact with us in the comments on there, and also please share our show. You guys, I've got a really short link that I can give you. It's LNK, so that's like link without the I, so LNK, and then UP, like link up without the I, and then .us, and then / TNT, so that's the abbreviations for tinfoil in tequila, and then that's in all caps, so TNT is all caps, so it's lnkup.us / TNT, TNT is all caps again. But you guys go there. It's a shortcut link. It'll take you to a little bio page about Tinfoil and Tequila. It's got all of our social media links, our studio phone number, our email address. Everything is on there. You can also listen live on Twitch when we're live streaming, such as right now. So you can actually watch us directly from that feed there, and also you can link over to Rumble and our YouTube and Spotify from there as well. And also I think our X account is on there, but I have yet to post anything on our X account. So it's just been hanging out there in the background and with like no content on it. So I haven't really done anything with X. I just kind of registered the account and left it hanging. Just, but yeah, well, I certainly appreciate you being here with us tonight, Jen, and thank you so much for attending. We definitely look forward to having you again next week. I'm not sure what the topic will be next week just yet, but I will post that on our page as soon as we come up with something, as I just got so many different amazing things that I want to talk about. It's hard to figure out what I want to do for the next show, so we'll talk about it.
well,
And
whatever it is, I'm sure it will link back to all the other things.
exactly, it always does, right? It always comes back full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But anyways, thank you all so much for listening. And again, Jen, thank you for attending tonight, and appreciate you being the co-host again. It's been amazing having you here
Thanks,
with us as
Larry.
well. And I hope that everyone has a good evening. All right. Thank you, and God bless.
Bye bye.